I've toured over $2 billion worth of real estate over the past few years, and I did that without having any experience. I did that without having any connections, without knowing anything about filming a video, but I knew that I had to be consistent with whatever it was I did, and I knew that I had to get online. And so what I did was post every single week, same time, same day, for multiple years until it actually worked. You know, Alex Hormozi does say that doing anything in business is 99% picking something, 1% actually doing it. You could be successful at literally anything, and the hardest part is staying consistent, figuring out a lane that works for you, for the individual, and not having shiny object syndrome, thinking that everything that everyone else is doing is going to be better than what you think you're good at or what you can actually do consistently. When it comes to content, at the time, I knew that there were many different directions that I could pull myself, but I knew a little bit about YouTube. I was already studying it. I was already a fan of a lot of YouTubers. So getting on YouTube just seemed natural for me. I thought that getting on YouTube in 2020 was late, and so do people now in 2026, and people last year in 2025 think that they are late to the party, think that it's oversaturated. Well, it might be pretty saturated. You know, you're not wrong there. I'm not going to tell you that it's not saturated, but if you still stick with it, stay consistent, over time, you will be rewarded. And that's with anything. So pick something, go all in, and I'm going to tell you my story real quick. So I knew that I had to do something when it comes to the creative side and branding myself as an individual on social media, and I was getting to the real estate field. I cold called 50,000 numbers. I door knocked 10,000 doors. And why is that relevant? Because I realized that those avenues were just not for me. I realized that I wasn't the best on the phones trying to get email addresses, selling someone. I still got thousands of them and closed deals from cold calling as well as door knocking, but I didn't like being in the heat and talking to people on a warm summer afternoon when I felt like I could have been in my room either making content or at a house making content. And being someone online, you're definitely more well respected, more trustworthy. People don't see you as some sleazy salesman. They already are coming to you because they feel like they know, like, and trust you. And so over time, this compounds, and a really rewarding thing as well when putting yourself online is just going to a 7-Eleven and someone recognizes you. That's how it happened to me a handful of times, which is pretty exciting. But other than that, getting online was the way to go when it comes to any business. I knew that was going to help my real estate experience and my real estate business in general. And so it wasn't until I figured out a system that worked where myself and at the time, my videographer and good friend that I grew up with, Raul, he would help with the production side. I would help get access into these homes. We worked as a great team, and we stayed with this for multiple years. But it wasn't right away to where I figured out the business side of it. You know, I was young. I was 23, 24 years old, and this was right as something big in 2020 happened where a lot of things shut down. We literally posted our first video March 6th, 2020. So about a week, 2 later, that's when the whole world kind of shut down, and we still went hard because all the eyeballs were online, and that's when the CPMs, RPMs were taken off. We were getting brand deals, etc. So I was very focused on the influencer side of things and the YouTube side of things, and then it wasn't until 6 months later I started having some call to actions of knowing that I was in the real estate space. Reach out, and if you do, my team can help you buy, sell, or rent a property in Los Angeles. And then I started a second channel about 6 months in, living in Los Angeles, where it became hyper-local niche videos of neighborhoods. I did many driving tours that were very popular at the time. I had people that I met out in LA tell me that my videos about Los Angeles were the reason that they moved to LA. Well, unfortunate for me, they didn't reach out to me. I didn't get a referral fee or a commission on the sale of a property. But a lot of those did come when I established a niche in the new construction era and combined it with my luxury home tour channel as well as the niche living in channel. So you see that I was an expert in my local area, and then I also am in the field looking at properties in the new construction space, $1.5 to $3 million. So shout out to my relationship that I built over time with the sales team at a lot of these new construction neighborhoods in Los Angeles really helped my business take off back then in 2021 to 2023. Things were good. The market was hot, obviously. And if you were in real estate then as compared to now, I'm sure you did more deals back then than you are now. And the world has quite changed over time. But you know what has not changed? The effort and consistency that putting into content will reward you with, and that is with what I'm still doing. And I see how dense, how strong, how important it is as far as the opportunities that come your way when you make consistent content on YouTube. And so that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it for other real estate professionals as well. It has just been an incredible journey from start to finish, going through several different editors. You know, things will go wrong in the process along the way. You'll have days where you go out and you film at a property, or you go into a neighborhood and film in a neighborhood, and you're talking about the area that you want to talk about, but maybe the audio on your mic was not on, so you have to go back, refilm it, or scrap that video entirely. You know, I've had dozens of shoots canceled the same day. I've had dozens of videos scrapped, and I'm sure people with shiny object syndrome and trying to chase these trends when you're seeing short form videos always are dealing with issues when it comes to content creation. And we see people online that we feel like have big followings, big brands, big businesses, and we admire them. We want to make content similar to them. But what they're doing does not matter to what you're doing. What you're doing is all that matters, and what you can do consistently is all that actually matters. I feel like one of the hardest parts in content creation is to not get discouraged when things may feel like they're slipping away from you. So when it comes to content creation, you may feel like your channel is constantly growing year after year after year, and this is over the long-term aspect of things. And it's fairly simple to continue to grow a YouTube channel over years if you stay consistent with it and build up a solid database, build up a solid fan base. But then when you see a dip in your viewership, that might hit your ego a bit. That might make you doubt yourself a little bit. But what you need to do is figure out a pivot once it starts to not work. Figure out what's next for you, whether that's adding on top of it or adding more into the ecosystem of what you're creating. There are many different ways to go about building a business off of content. I see it all from everyone that I talk to, living in Los Angeles and being in the content space. These are two avenues that I live in, and I talk to people constantly in both spaces every single day. So I know what business owners are doing on content to make them successful. And so I see it, especially directly in the real estate space, whether you're an agent, developer, builder, in construction, interior design, architect. YouTube organic really does help build a life that you want to live. And touring $2 billion worth of real estate is crazy. A lot of people ask me, how do I get access into these homes? And that's probably a question that you wanted to know as well. And well, it started with me emailing 100 listings a day to only get 2 responses. Is kind of crazy, because if I'm emailing 100 listings saying, hey, it's free marketing, I'll walk into your property, I'll tour it, I just want a nice home to add a nice thumbnail to my database of videos on YouTube. And how are only 2 people going to reply to that? I mean, a lot of agents do their own in-house marketing or whatnot, but I feel like I reply to 99% of emails that I get that actually feel like they're from a real person that may add some sort of free value, whether that's in a positive direction or I just say no thanks, but maybe another time. Like, is that a connection you'd want to try to begin to establish? A hungry real estate agent new and early in their career? And if that's you, if you are a new real estate agent early in your career, reach out, comment below. I would love to know if you're actually watching this video and are taking any value from it, because with that consistent effort and with that volume I was doing, I knew all I had to get was 1 shoot with every 100 videos, 1 free shoot. That's how hard it is. I'm sure if you're trying to build some sort of a consistency on the content side of things, maybe you're emailing, maybe you're sending texts, maybe you're reaching out to your sphere, trying to gain access to properties that you'd be able to walk through. And so once you get access to one property, you can leverage that into getting access into another. You can leverage that into getting access to another. And then those 3, 4, 5, 6 listing agents will get more listings. And then you develop relationships over time. Now I have hundreds of real estate professionals within my database that I can reach out to at any time, or they reach out to me now. And I'm offered business incentives, I'm offered partnerships, I'm offered referrals, equity, you name it. There are many different directions that you can leverage when it comes to monetizing or growing your personal brand because of it. And then you can get sponsorships, brand deals, and then you leverage this into businesses on top of that. And that's why I feel like a house tour channel is just the most lucrative way to build a following and actual influence, because you can do it often and you can do it consistently if you just start. You do one. And I'm not trying to sell anyone on the other side of the camera. Obviously, I'm gonna be transparent with you. I have a free community, and then I have a done-for-you YouTube content agency business called Effortless Influence if you are interested. But I just truly am passionate about what I do, and I want to offer value on the other side of the camera, because I truly came from someone with zero connections in real estate. My parents don't know anything there is to know about real estate. They ask me questions. I didn't have one person in my circle. And even when I started in real estate, I had an ego of thinking that I could do it by myself. And that may have been the case. I slowly was able to over time. But if going back, I definitely would have joined a smaller team to where I could see people doing what I wanted to do, maybe latch on to someone, shadow someone that was in a position where I wanted to be, and that would have made my growth 10x faster than what it actually was. I had to go into the weeds and figure out year after year and decide which direction was me, how I had to get more self-aware month after month. So there were a lot of different obstacles I had to jump over before finally figuring out my avatar, who I actually was. And that's what you also need to do if you are new in this field, in this profession, in your career. And now over time, I have 400 videos on my main channel, 400 more on my other channel. And then on this channel you're currently watching, we're getting up there. We're posting twice a week right now, but gonna be ramping that up as the days go by. And it started with I believe a $5 million home in Bel Air. I've been into $70 million homes on my main channel, and collectively $2 billion if you scroll through the thousands of videos I've also posted on TikTok. And I essentially have access to any luxury home you can name in Los Angeles. I probably have been there, I've seen it, I've been in contact with someone in one way, shape, or another. So in your niche, wherever you are, if you're in Dubai, if you're in Australia, if you're in Rhode Island, if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, you can build yourself as that guy who has access to everything. Anything it is that you actually want, you can have access to if you just begin and start and send a few emails and reach out to a few people, and that will build you up over time. And content is the way to do that. Yeah, you can do it through just your in-person connections, but having that personal, authentic brand online will help. There are no cons from building an authentic personal brand on YouTube. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.